told me you talked to him. And it's a great joy to be with you because my wife's family were neighbors of theirs back in the 1800s, being right here from Monroe County. And so it's kind of like a good connection here. As I was thinking about what to share with you today, I was thinking about some wonderful trips that my wife and I have had to Williamsburg. The last couple of years we've been there 4 times. And when you go to Williamsburg, it's like stepping back into the Revolutionary time. 1774 is the year they've been focusing. And as I have listened to those dramas from Patrick Henry and Thomas Jefferson and George Washington and others talk about the anticipated revolution, it's given me a feel of some of the struggles that Zachariah must have had, and some of the people around here felt, and you gentlemen that have studied this a lot better than I have could tell me much more. But as I thought about this, of course, also I thought back into the biblical story and revolutions that have been going on from the beginning of time. And I wanted to share with you a passage that talks about how God prepares his people for the victory that he would bring. Some of you are familiar with the story of Gideon, and I wanted to share some verses from the 6th chapter, and then just talk a little bit about that, and make sure I get the right verses here. I don't want to read you the whole story. We'll be here till supper time. I want to read the first 9 verses of Gideon chapter 7, and then skip down to 19 through 21. And Jeroboam, that is Gideon, and all the people who were with him rose early and encamped beside the well of Herod, so that the camp of the Midianites was on the north side of the hill of Morah in the valley. And the Lord said to Gideon, the people who are with you are too many for me to give the Midianites into their hands, lest Israel claim glory for itself against me, saying, my own hand has saved me. Now therefore proclaim in the hearing of the people, saying, whoever is fearful and afraid, let him turn and depart at once from Mount Gilead. And 22,000 of the people returned, and 10,000 remained. But the Lord said to Gideon, the people are still too many. Bring them down to the water, and I will test them for you there. Then it will be that of whom I say to you, this one shall go with you, the same shall go with you, and of whomever I say to you, this one shall not go with you, the same shall not go. So he brought the people down to the water, and the Lord said to Gideon, everyone who laps from the water with his tongue, as a dog laps, you shall set apart by himself. Likewise everyone who gets down on his knees to drink. And the number of those who lapped, putting their hand to their mouth, were 300 men. But all the rest of the people got down on their knees to drink the water. Then the Lord said to Gideon, by the 300 men who lapped, I will save you and deliver the Midianites into your hand. Let all the other people go, every man to his place. And then skipping down to 21. And every man stood in his place all around the camp, and the whole army ran and cried out and fled. When the 300 blew the trumpets, the Lord set every man's sword against his companion throughout the whole camp, and the army fled to Beth Achaia towards Zachariah as far as the border of Abel, Milah of Tabith. The reason I wanted to read that passage to you is that when Revolutionary War was being fought, as little as I know about it, they realized that they needed the power more than what their numbers were. For our nation to be born required a vision of what God was calling these people in a new land to have and to be. And many were afraid. As I listened to testimonies at Williamsburg, many people felt that conflict between loyalty to the crown, feeling as they had been taught all their lives that God had put that crown in position of authority and power. And what were they to do here in the new world? How were they to keep honoring God and being faithful to His will, and yet know that because of the oppression that the king was imposing, that this was not to be God's will for them? So I'm sure that when Zachariah Callaway was invited to be part of the revolutionary movement, he had the questions, and he, I'm sure, prayed, "Oh God, help me to know the power and the strength as the army of Gideon had, that it was not going to be won by their power, but by God's presence working in and through them." And here we are in 2009, still remembering, as we did the Flag Day yesterday, that our flag is flying over this country and over our soldiers in other places who are still defending the freedoms that these Revolutionary War veterans did. So how fitting it is that we can place this monument here to remember him and to claim the victory that came through much struggle and through much sacrifice. Then a passage from the New Testament I think also speaks well of what we would want to claim as we look at what was happening in Acts. This is a passage that's set right after the healing that John and Peter did of the man that was lame. And they were trying to squelch, the religious and the political leaders were trying to squelch the revolution of the new faith, the Christian faith. And this passage shows, again, the strength of what happens when people know that God is leading. And here I want to read in the Acts of the Apostles, in the 4th chapter, the verses 13 through 22. Now when they saw the boldness of Peter and John, and perceived that they were uneducated and untrained men, they marveled, and they realized that they had been with Jesus. And seeing the man who had been healed standing with them, they could say nothing against it. But when they had commanded them to go aside out of the council, they conferred among themselves, saying, "What shall we do with these men? For indeed that a noble miracle has been done through them is evident to all who dwell in Jerusalem, and we cannot deny it. But so that it spreads no further among the people, let us severely threaten them that from now on they speak to no man in this name." So they called them and commanded them not to speak at all, nor teach in the name of Jesus. But Peter and John answered and said to them, "Whether it is right in the sight of God to listen to you more than to God, you judge. For we cannot but speak things which we have seen and heard." So when they had further threatened them, they let them go, finding no way to punish them because of the people, since they all glorified God for what had been done.